keep them a bit further away from me now. And that way, if I laugh too hard, we don't lose everything. There are a lot of beads on the floor though, because I work a lot with seed beads, which are really, really small beads that you put in between things. I've only been in this room for a couple of months, and I probably have several hundred seed beads on the ground from like tipping them out of their containers or laughing too hard or, ooh, flip, there you go. Dear, dinner. Oh, okay, still quite early for you then. Thank you for the good luck. I really wanted a cosplay site from Owl House. I'm not gonna talk about the collector in too much detail until we start making it, because the collector's in the second season of Owl House, and I want to give people here a chance to catch up before we start making it, so that I don't unintentionally spoil them. But I really, really loved the Owl House. I think it's kind of sad what's happened to it, but like obviously I'm really looking forward to the next special releasing on the 21st, I think it is. I just really enjoyed it. I really loved it, and I want to cosplay. This is just personal, by the way. I don't want this to come across as like weird elitism, but like I personally like to cosplay from things that I support or that I really love, so that I can find other people who love the same sort of things that I do. That's why a lot of my cosplays are Final Fantasy, because I love Final Fantasy. And with the Owl House in particular, I really wanted to cosplay it for it, because I feel like it was dealt quite a rough hand over the last couple years, and it's such a good show, and I really enjoyed it. Oh dear, I've heard it damages immunity every time you get it. I see, that could be it then. Yeah, the first 2 times, I honestly wasn't too bad. Like, I had a bit of a sore throat and it was a little rough, but like, I never even got a fever, I don't think. Whereas this time, I was ill. And it hit really fast. I was like fine one day, and then I woke up the next day like... It was so fast. And then yeah, this time I also got bronchitis, but it is what it is. 2 a.m. here, but I'm glad to get to watch the crafting. Knocked on bookcase with no knots and natches, thank you! No knots. No knots. We would get a knot counter, but I think it would be too depressing. Whereas like, it just happens way too often. It's my fault as well. But every time I knot, it's because I've like put too much thread on the needle, because I just think I could do a little bit more. And then I cause myself to have knots, and then that causes problems. But ouches we don't have very often, all things considered. And normally when we do have them, I don't even notice. Someone else has to tell me that I'm bleeding. I get a quick DM like, Jelly, remove your hand. What? What's happening? There we go. But actually, the cosplays are stunning. A good friend is cosplay too, but I feel like she buys most of the stuff, and which is fine. Yeah. I think because cosplay is getting a little bit more mainstream, a lot more people are finding different parts of the hobby that they like, which I think is a really good thing. Being able to buy costumes and wear them is a lot more accessible for people with full-time jobs who can't, don't have the time maybe to put into making lots of costumes. Personally, the bit of the hobby that I really like is the making. Wearing costumes, I do it, but I really like making them. And I personally really like, all of the beading, all of the sequining. I'm really getting into smocking. Before you guys popped in, we were just talking about that we wanted to learn how to make our own lace. Because I think that would be like a really good technique to add to the arsenal, just for like competition work and stuff. So yeah, I like that bit. Wearing it's fine, and it is nice to show off the work that you've done, but like, personally I prefer making it. I stay masked, so far no COVID. I left the house once in December, and that was to go see some family. And I will say when I left, I was fine. I took a COVID test before I went, and I negative, didn't have any symptoms, didn't assume that I had anything. I caught the train. I do have to catch a couple trains to get to them, so I was technically on a few trains, and then I obviously came back the same way. And the day after I got back, immediately tested positive, all symptoms. So we assume that I caught it on the way to them. Thankfully, nobody else tested positive. None of my family did. It was just me. So obviously I was the one who got it on the train. But I wore masks and I hand sanitized the whole way. I do have family who's very, very immunocompromised. So like whenever we're going and visiting, we're very, very careful. Like you don't even visit with a cold. You like literally, you have the entail of a cold and you can't visit. So like we're very, very careful. But I think a lot of people traveling this year, well, I say I think, I was there. A lot of people traveling this year were not very well. Whether it be traveling to work or whatever, a lot of people, you could kind of just tell they were sick. So I like told my parents, like, I think there was like no way that I was getting out of that without COVID. If like half the people on the coach or the what would you call it, the train carriage is sick, like I'll probably get it. Ah, dear. Big Armors. I like looking at Big Armor cosplay, but I don't think that I could ever do it myself. It's the thing is, this is my very personal view. Sewing is like, oh, calm, relaxing, like floating in the ocean, like everything's chilled. It's slow work, but it's very rewarding. Armor work is like everything stinks, half of it's toxic, and it's goddamn loud. Like you want to sand for hours on end. You want to drill everything. You want loud noises. You want everything happening at once. You want one mistake you have to start all over again. Armor's terrifying. I have a lot of respect for cosplayers who work with foam armor and wobbler, but like that's not me. I like my chill, relaxing sewing, where like even if I make a slight mistake, I just have to unpick a couple stitches. I like that. I can't handle it. It's all loud and smelly and toxic and God. Oh dear. But you know, some people really like that, and then some people look at the sewing that I do and they think that's hell. So hey. LTL is hard, yeah. Are you in that boat as well? Yeah, it is what it is. I'm afraid to ride buses and trains. I'm so sorry. I'd say if you can avoid traveling at busy hours, you'll probably be fine. But I traveled before Christmas, so a lot of people were traveling. Dick and Sal. Hello. Don't forget the 3D modeling. Oh god, of course. Resin 3D printing, like nice and stinky. Sand for hours on end sounds great. Oh, that not sand art, just sand. Also, like, how do you feel about wearing goggles and a dust mask all the time? Do you like that? I mean, they do look kind of hardcore. Like, the aesthetic is pretty there. I think it looks very cool. But like, the physically wearing it, it's tiring. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for people that work with foam and wobbler as their primary like cosplay materials, because I think that's really, really hard work. Whereas the work that I do feels very relaxing in comparison. Like it's just sewing a sequin on one at a time. I guess it's different though. It's like pick your poison. Like, do you like long, monotonous tasks where progress is very slow? Then you'll probably really like beading and sequining. Do you like tasks that are done like this, but if you make a mistake, you've hacked up and everything stinks now? Armor. Also, Poet, welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the follow. I apologize for intermittent coughing. I'm still recovering. But yeah, it's it's whichever you like. I think as well, most of the time, people who like one will have a lot of respect for the other, myself included, because like, when I see really like intense armor builds, I'm like, I do not know how you've had the patience and commitment to do that. But then people look at my stuff and they're like, you're a beading masochist, and it's like, you're right, and we like it. I hate that when you're ill, you have to travel. I was on a bus ride in Germany from my place to Berlin, quite a long way away, and one guy was coughing his lungs out. It was before COVID, but why would you ever do that? Yeah, this is the thing, is like I was wearing, so I've had colds and stuff like that, and I was a bit ill at the beginning of December, and I wore a mask. I'll be honest, I didn't really have coughing as a symptom, but the thing is, nobody wants a cold. Even though it's not really dangerous to most people, no one wants a cold. So I wore a mask, and I remember at work people would be like, why are you still wearing a mask if it's not COVID? It's like, well, do you want this cold? Would you like this? Surely not, right? I don't know. Personally, I don't particularly like being ill. If you cut and glue things right, there's not a lot of sanding. I think that's been my big, I get nervous because it's not something I'm very good at, and it's not something that I have a lot of practice with. So I tend to have like bigger seam lines, and then obviously I have to sand it down. Like I have worked with armor before, which is why I know that it's not my favorite. But I do have a lot of respect for people that do continuously work with armor. Yeah, I think it's really cool. COVID's horrible, but a cold is torture. There's just nothing you can do. Same with COVID, to be fair. There's very little you can do. And same with goddamn bronchitis, except for steroids, which, yeah, is not exactly great. Sharp knife is key. I've heard that. My knife, I know when I do it wasn't not sharp, but it could have been sharper. I've heard having a really sharp knife is important. It was long distance. Blue said I was sitting like 5 rows behind him. I can't imagine what I would have done if I'd had to sit next to him. Is it rude to move? I guess if you have like a set seat though, you can't do that. Yeah. I've moved on the train, but then I'll be honest, like when I was catching the train for work every day, it was quite common for people to move. When you're on like a late train, like there's a lot of very drunk people on there, so like people will move around to avoid people who are getting a bit handsy and stuff like that. So like, I guess maybe it was a bit more common because of the trains that I caught, but yeah, it is. I would absolutely move. A stacked bus with set seats. Yeah, set seats is, that's difficult. Carry disposable masks just in case and hand them out. Yeah, and be careful with that. I mean this not because it's not a nice idea, but some people are very aggressively against masks. And we at work, while it was mandatory to wear masks in shops, would hand masks out to customers coming in, and we had staff get assaulted for it. So like, it's a really nice idea, but stay safe, because there are people who will take that as an act of aggression and will attack you. And we had quite a few women get attacked where we worked. I think somewhere else, a few young men also got attacked for handing out masks. And I know that it was like a fair few news stories going around of other businesses having the same kind of issue where it's like, yeah, it's mandatory, but because the people handing them out are not security guards, they kind of become like a prime target for being... I don't mean like verbally attacked. A lot of people were verbally attacked. I was verbally attacked. But like physically attacked is what I'm talking about. Like actual violence. Yeah. As much as it's not nice to be verbally attacked, I do think being physically attacked is, yeah. I think most of them got arrested for it though, which is a small silver lining, but my colleagues still had to be attacked for that. So, I don't know. I think it's a nice idea. Please look out for yourself, because some people... are unhinged, actually. Just unhinged. Oh dear. If you don't want a mask, don't take the mask. Jesus, don't rag on a service worker about it. Well, this was the thing is, so I don't know if it was the same in England, I think it was, but I know Wales had the policy a lot longer than England, and I live in Wales. So basically, you had to wear a mask to go into a store, so if you didn't have a mask, you wouldn't be allowed in the shop. And we had a lot of people come over from England and not realise that Wales still had the same rules. And so people would come over and not be allowed in any of the stores. And because they kept getting turned down from stores for not wearing a mask, they got violent. And I'm not using that as an excuse, because obviously there is no excuse, but like that's just what happened here. And yeah, it was rough, honestly. It was a very rough time. I don't think retail workers get enough credit for the shit they have to put up with. And I am biased because I was a retail worker for a very long time. But, like, genuinely, like, people being nice on the door, it'd get you close to tears because of how horrible people would be. Yeah, it was bad. A bad time to work in retail. I imagine, like, pubs and bars probably had similar issues. I don't know though. In Germany's mandatory in some places like public transportation, but the coffee guy was pre-COVID. Yeah, he was just spreading them germs. Yeah, a lot of aggressive folks not wearing masks were the police. Yeah, so the way that it worked for us, this is why I'm like, I think they were arrested, because I know they were taken by the police, but once they're taken, you don't get any more information. So like, I don't know. Unless it makes the news, you don't find out normally. But yeah, I know people were taken away by the police. Also, the shopping center like nearby had like holding sales for like people who had been violent. So you'd know if people had been sent to the holding cell because you wouldn't go to that part of the building while there was someone actively being like interviewed by the police. But yeah. Oh dear. These who refuse to wear them and oh yeah, that's bad. It just puts people at risk. There's no reason for that. I did retail out of uni for a Christmas Eve and oof, never again. I did retail for over 10 years. Over 10 years. I started work in retail when I was 16 and I only stopped this year, or last year I should say. And I might have to go back to it again, we'll see. The thing is, technically I had qualifications, but they're so old because obviously I've been disabled and stuck in the house for so long. I think I'd either need to retrain or go back to retail. I can't work around food for certain reasons, so I can't do cafe work or bar work, which means the options are limited. Oh dear. When you risk your own money, hire people and manage logistics, you can fight the power. Until then, you put a mask on and you walk in the store. Exactly. Excuse me while I spread germs. It's the same in Germany. We don't have to wear masks anymore, but I still do. People don't get or don't want to is that you only wear for the freaking things for yourself, but for others. Yeah, exactly. Like I wear the mask. I do wear it to try not to get COVID, but for the most part, it's so that I can visit certain family. Yeah. And personally, I don't leave the house very often, so I can't say that I'm like, oh yeah, I would never travel if I was ill because I just don't leave the house, so. It feels like a half-assed statement. I wouldn't travel if I was ill, but you know. People really don't appreciate service. Sorry. Heckin' bronchitis. People really don't appreciate service workers, nor do they appreciate everything that goes into getting 3 quids junked from a mart to your house. Yeah. Like absolutely. I think my least favorite, and this is like a common thing, is when you go into a stop and people are like, girl, over here. It's like little things like that where it's like, you look down on me. And I have never spoken to you before. But the amount of customers that will like beckon you like a dog and call you girl, yeah, it's something. It's something. I think you get it a lot worse if you look younger or are younger as well. But it really grinded my gears. Like, you can't say anything about it really, but like, God, you are treated like worse than a dog half the time. And for minimum wage, it's excuse me, service wrench. Yeah, I don't know how to read a sign in front of my face. Yeah, excuse me, serving girl, how much is this? I know it says £5, but is it £5? You got to someone and politely say, excuse me, we weren't. Like, it's one of those things that happen so often that the staff like, listen, grin and bear it, kill them with kindness if they're gonna treat you like that, but you can't say anything. Because technically, they haven't done anything wrong. It's different if they discriminate against you. If they were to say, which they did, not to me, but to other members of staff, excuse me, Asian girl, that's discrimination and you can report that. But if it's just girl, you can't do that. Oh my God. Yeah. People are rough. I'm always amazed at how poorly so many people treat and handle their food. Stupid. Oh dear, it's the go look out the back for more comment. Oh yeah, do you have any more of these out the backs? Like, no. How do you know? I don't know, working here for like 5 years might have tipped me off, but I listen, I'll be honest though, when ever anyone was like, can you check if there's more in the back? I'd say yes, I just stand out the back. We don't keep stock out there, but I just stand out the back for like 2 minutes and then be like, I'm really sorry, I looked really hard, but I couldn't find it. Like, if you're going to insist, I'll do it. I'll stop working for 5 minutes. I'll take a little break. I keep snacks back there. So, like, I'll go back there, eat a Snickers bar, and then come back out on the floor. Like, if that's what you want. Like, at the end of the day, the customer's happy that you tried. So, I'll do it. Oh, dear. Tells me his customers the most when the store worker talks to me in the third person. Like, does... Yeah. Oh, no, it's the same. Oh, my God. Not too often, though, I should say. We used to work at a shoe store. We did that all the time. Oh, you mean to duck into the shoe rack to play my phone for 2 minutes? Yeah, it's like, I think most service people do it. If I tell you, like, we don't keep stock in the back, because normally I will say that first, be like, I'm really sorry, we actually don't we keep all of our stock out on the shop floor, so like there won't be any extra stock in the back. And they're like, can you just check? I was like, okay, I'll go check. I'll normally tell them first, because sometimes people will ask and it's like they don't mean anything bad by it, but like if I explain that it won't be in the back and then they still want me to look, I'll look. I'll just stand there. Sometimes I'll check if it's like available online while I'm back there so that I can come back and tell them that, but yeah. I don't know where they expect to magic this stock out of. Oh, also, we have it available online. We could order it into store for you. If I'd wanted to buy it online, I would have done it. Okay. I'm giving you options, lady. We got a lot of that as well. If I wanted to buy it online, I would have bought it online. Okay, sure. You can just say no thank you. You can just say no thank you. Like, that's fine. I'm not going to insist. Oh dear. So it's just so self-familiar. I think any retail worker will have that same experience. Sometimes they're like, no, we don't. How do you know? You didn't check. I filled the shelves. Yeah, there was a period of time where so when I first worked there, I did a lot of shifts. I was the only person earning in the household, and it was minimum wage, so I did a lot of extra work. And I was working in stock, and then I would work on the shop floor straight afterwards. So I would do the first, depending on the day, it'd be like 4 to 6 hours in stock, and then I'd do it like a further 5 hours on the shop floor. I did that 5 days a week. So it was quite a lot of hours. It was a lot of hours, honestly. But I did that. And so I would know, because I literally was working in the stock rooms for the first 5 hours of the day. I knew if there were any deliveries because I was unloading them. I knew if anything was stuck back there because I was the one doing it. I knew if things were like faulty and had to be sent back because I was the one doing it. And then I'd go on the shop floor and they'd be like, how do you know? And it's like, I don't know, because that's also my job. I do that too. Oh. But again, I will always take the opportunity. If you're telling me to go check in the back, I'll do it. Like, I'm not gonna say no. Oh dear. A supervisor, or because computers. Yeah. Go home and buy it, right? People really think backrooms have some sort. Yeah, it's very confusing. We would sometimes get people come in and be like, how do you know you haven't had a new delivery? And it's like, well, because if we'd had a new delivery, it would be out on the shop floor before we opened. Because deliveries come in at 6 in the morning. And so, yeah, it's not there if we haven't had it. But listen, we got it online. Oh my god. People used to get really upset about it. We used to get people, so I don't know if this will be the same in England, but I can talk about it in Wales. If you don't have an email address, you can't order online through a store. The reason is that data protection means that they have to send a receipt directly to your email address, so you can't put in someone else's, or you can put in like someone in your family's, but you couldn't put in the shop one, for instance. It has to be one that you can access. A lot of customers didn't have email addresses that they were willing to share with us. Not that they didn't have email addresses, they just didn't want to give it to us. So it was like, we'll need an email to do the online transaction. I'm not giving you my email. Well, then I can't do it. What do you mean? Put your email in there. Like, if you wouldn't put your email in there, why would I put mine? It's like, because it's your receipt. I'm so sorry, it's your receipt. Oh, it was so infuriating because you'd got someone who wanted to order online, but then they didn't want to put their email address in. Like, I'm really sorry, if you're ordering from home, you will also have to put your email address in. Oh my god. I don't know what they thought we were doing with them, but they get so mad. Care about effect, but I had to. Yeah, true. That was the other thing, is you have to have enough employees so that you can actually check in the back. There was times where I'll go check in the back once my employee or like fellow employee returns from lunch, because yeah, you couldn't leave the shop unoccupied, but most of the time we had a couple people. Adishadara, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Welcome. Happy New Year. Good morning. Ah, dear. GDPR. Is that what it's called? Yeah. It's like you have to be careful of data protection and stuff. That's how it was explained to us, but because obviously customers would get very upset. Oh dear. The thing that tilts me is grocery store people put bottles on the conveyor belt the wrong way, and whenever it stops, they just. That's top tier. Top tier stupid. It's This is the thing, and I mean this in the nicest way possible. But a lot of people, they have this inflated ego where they assume that if someone's working in a shop, they must be stupid. They must be really dumb. And so they act all high and mighty, when in reality, the stuff they're saying is absolute nonsense, and you're just nodding along because you don't want to start an argument. And like, as a bra fitter, I got that a lot. I used to get a lot of like, well, you don't have enough boobs to be a good bra fitter. And it was like, okay, got it. I had ladies who full on refused to be fit by me because they said I was too skinny, and that I couldn't understand how to fit a bra for a bigger lady. Which, by the way, I am trained by the NHS. I do predominantly post-surgery fittings for people who have had breast cancer. So, like, out of all the bra fitters in the UK, I'm actually probably one of the most highly qualified. Not to toot my own horn too much, but, like, most bra fitters do not have NHS training. So, yeah, I was pretty well damn trained. And the amount of people who were just like... And then my colleague would do it. And then they'd ask me for help if they needed help. And then I'd come in and they'd be like, this girl? She doesn't even look old enough to be wearing a bra. And I'd just be like... Ooh, it was always the same kind of woman as well. Like, I would say, without, again, trying to stereotype too much, middle-aged. Oh god, it is! Okay, 2 seconds. Let's fix that. Thank you, good spot. Oh no! There you go. Oh dear. Okay, we got it. Box Duck has been freed. Oh. Happy New Year, thank you for the lurk. We constantly filled in junk fields. Sorry for the spam people so hard. No one trusted you. No one trusts you. You're an idiot. You work in retail, you must be stupid. Excuse me, oh my god, where is music? So opening, it's like, oh my god, it's Kobe's. Oh my god, they're having a sale. Oh dear, middle-aged Karens, yeah. It's I loved, again, I can only speak, oh, this one's always a bit loud, sorry, let me turn it down a bit. I can only speak really, because the majority of my retail experience has been working as a bra fitter, which was a job that I really enjoyed, I should say. It was like very fulfilling because of what I did, because I was helping people with breast cancer, because I was able to help a little bit. It was like a very fulfilling job for the most part. But I also dealt with other people, not just people with breast cancer, because I'll be honest, the majority of people I worked with breast cancer were lovely. But I dealt with other people as well. And working as a bra fitter, a lot of people will just assume you're okay with people talking about your body, which, I'll be honest, it didn't bother me too much, but you could see that it bothered other people. Like when people would look at me and say, I don't want the skinny fitter, can I have you instead? And then they talk to maybe one of my colleagues who was a bit overweight, and it's like, not only does that make me feel bad, it makes the person you're asking for help feel bad too. This was the same job where I had people like pull up my clothes to see my tattoos. I think it was okay to just rip the back of my shirt down so that they could look at my back tattoo. Because I'm a lingerie girl. I'm a lingerie fitter. I must be fine with being naked all the time. I love that. I love it when people literally just pick my clothes off of me. And like, not in the fitting rooms, like in front of the windows, like people were just pulling my clothes up off me. I'm like, out of nowhere. Like, I will say, I did put my foot down on that one whenever it happened, because like, it's not okay and I don't like being touched. So like, I would be like, sorry, that's inappropriate. Please don't do that. And most of the time they'd look really offended. Like, I was like, I don't know what to say. You're taking my clothes off. But they don't know and they treat you like you're stupid. Yeah. We also would get a lot of people come in and say things like, oh, you definitely don't have my size here. So I don't know why I'm even here. Like, why am I bothering? Like, you definitely don't have my size. And it's like, okay, try me. And if we don't, get ready, because I have a lot of suggestions. Like, we're well-trained girls. We work with people who are literally like going through breast cancer. Like, we know what we're fucking talking about. But like, whatever. Working tech support says all the joys of customer service plus the oh, that sounds really fun. Also, fine friend, welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. Cat sports for months and walk away treating people who are helping you badly. Yeah, I've been there in tech support. Oh god. all of you. Also, Mikey, welcome on in. Customer service stories. Oh yeah. So I used to work in lingerie. I don't know if you knew that, Mikey. I worked in lingerie for 5 years, specifically helping women with breast cancer for the most part, but like I did do regular fits as well. I have been undressed by customers. I have had customers ask me what my size is so that they can get, because their wife is like you, but a bit skinnier. And it's like, great, thanks, my dude, I feel great about that. Oh my god. Honestly, the amount of weird comments you get because people assume because you work in lingerie that you must really want to talk about sexy all the time. And it's like, oh, I don't know you. We just met. Oh, that's something. How dare, like, so I have a tattoo starting from the top of my neck all the way down to my butt, right? Big jellyfish. I had it way before I started streaming, but I've always liked jellyfish, so I have it. You can see it poking out the top of my uniform because it's on my neck. And people would literally come up behind me, just be like, and like pull the back of my top down so they could see the whole tattoo. Didn't ask. Half the time would make me jump out of my skin because I didn't see them coming. And also because it's pulling at the back, you strangle me when you do that. Like you're strangling me in the middle of the shop floor. And then if I say no, you get offended. Oh dear, the Venga bus is coming. Yes, the Venga bus is short and sweet. And thank you for the horn. I appreciate it. You don't? Then why are you hanging out? I know, right? I'm hanging out with all these bras. Whoa. Shoot, like, what are you doing hanging out in the panty section if you didn't want me to see your panties? Come on now. Duh. Personal space. There is no personal space in retail in general, I think. I don't think it matters what part of retail you work in. The personal space isn't there. I will say lingerie is the weirdest experience I've had just because, again, people kind of make assumptions about you and your personality and also that you want to have those kind of conversations with them. We would have a lot of men come in buying gifts for their wife or their girlfriend and stuff and make really weird comments like, I don't even know which ones I want to go over because some of them were gross. We'd have women do it as well. I don't want to, like, it's not just men. Women can be, most of the time when people touched me, it was women. Men weren't coming up and ripping my clothes off, but women were. But the comments you'd get from men, a lot of it would just be asking like, do you mind if I ask your bra size? Yeah, so I think my wife's your size. First of all, that's not how boobs work. That's not how boobs work. Oh, I have a picture of my wife. Here she is, completely topless. It's like, oh, cool. Thanks for showing me topless images of your wife. Like, it's just common sense stuff that you don't do. And like, most of the time, you're so shook that you're just like, I don't know how to respond to this. Oh dear. I tell my own horror stories in retail and customer service, but it's so awful to hear about the bad things. I mean, we obviously have I've cleaned up a lot of vomit and poop, which is weird for somewhere which didn't have bathrooms half the time, like, but I've cleaned up a lot. We did have a sewage leak once. That wasn't the customer's fault, but it was intense. It was leaking from the top floor, so it just came the whole way down the wall. It was very stinky. That's not the customer's fault. The customers didn't do that, but it was gross. Oh, spill. Are bras size uniform? No. So the way that bras are fit, you have your waist, or not waist, you have your rib cage size, which is the number, and then you have your cup size, which is the cup, right? The way that it works is, for instance, when we're talking about the size of someone's boobs, a 32D is the same as a 34D. It's just their rib cage is bigger. Even though the double D and the D, they sound like one's bigger than the other, because the rib cage is bigger, it actually equals out that the boobs are exactly the same size. So a 34D, a 32 double D, a 36C, a 38B, all of those people have the same size boobs. They have different size rib cages. And then it's like one of those things, it's like maths, but it's quite simple maths. It's called sister sizing. What a lot of women will do is they'll think their bra's uncomfortable because it's digging in, and so they'll go up in the band and then they'll go down in the cup. So they'll say, oh, you know, I'm normally a 36F, but this doesn't feel comfortable, so I'm going to go up to a 38E. And then when you measure them, it's actually that their rib cage is smaller. They've measured like a 34. So the reason it was digging in is not because it's too tight, it's because it's really tight in specific places because it's digging in, because the back's gone up, so it digs in at the side and it hurts. That can just be fixed by actually making it tighter, so it's tight the whole way around, so it doesn't dig in anywhere. And it can get used to being in a tighter bra like that, but normally it'll be more comfortable than having a really, really loose bra. I also worked a lot with non-wired and people that had like abscesses removed, large gaps or chunks taken out, lumpectomies, as well as like obviously full breast surgery. So again, a lot of people had different things they needed to go through and different avenues to take it. But bras is difficult. I'm not going to come in and be like it's easy, especially if you've never worn a bra. It is a little complicated. But if you have someone you love and you want to buy them a bra, ask them their size, or just go in their underwear drawer and like see what sizes they're wearing, because like most bras have a label in the back that says the size of the bra. Women will refer to their own labels when buying their next bra. Like, it's fine for you to do it as long as they're okay with you going through their underwear. I would say just ask. Otherwise, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to know. Oh dear. Oh my god, I can relate. I take like one sentence to make it basically not weird. I know, I don't know how to say this without saying rude, so then and yeah, I then at least appreciate you know you're saying something weird. I made extra money being about to college and it was not a fun time. Jerky people, alcohol, way too much jerky. I've had to come with you, thank you, no worries at all, but please don't send me this again. I'm awful with it because I'm very reactionary. So like when someone sends me, or they show it to me on their phone, they'll be like, I expect to see a closed image of a woman and be like, I can't get a bra from that. So I'm already getting ready to be like, I'm really sorry, I can't tell someone's bra size like that. So when they turn the phone around and there's a naked woman there, I'm like, what? This wasn't where I was expecting to see a naked woman. But then I guess if it's over the internet, you can compose yourself. I have to try really hard not to laugh. Someone shows me a naked picture of their wife. Oh my god. It's great as well because if you're reactionary, everyone else you work with basically knows what happens. Drunk people poop and vomit, I hear you, yeah. Poop, vom, piss. It happens. I know this is weird, yeah. I think asking someone their cup size is still like, you don't have to say. Most of the time, I'll be honest, they didn't actually do my bra size where I worked because I have a 26-inch ribcage. So they never did my size. 26 is like, nah, you don't exist. I'm sorry. But so that most of the time I say like, I'm really sorry, we actually don't do my bra size here. But if you have any leads or if you have any ideas, I can help you find stuff. Yeah, I have very, very small ribs. It is what it is. Morning, welcome back to the Sick Club, Isocia. Ah, dear. That's how, yeah, Vincent, you got it spot on. Honestly, you bra fitter? Jesus. Oh, dear. And Studio, welcome back in. I hope you're doing well. Welcome, welcome. I would show a store worker a picture of my topless wife before looking at the drawer. This is the thing, it's like, what? We just ask, and again, I want to be clear, I'm sure there is an image that it's just men doing this. It's not. But like, if you're that worried about your partner finding out that you know their bra size, maybe don't buy them a bra. Normally what we do is we'd show them to like some sexy pajamas or something. It's like an easy way of getting them something sexy that's a bit easier, because you can't judge. Like, I can't measure someone with my eyes. Well, I mean, I kind of can, but like not that well. And I normally need a 360, not just one still image. That is my secret superpower. I can tell if someone's wearing the wrong bra by looking at them. 5 years in the business. Yeah, if someone's wearing the wrong bra size, I can normally tell. Like, if, you know, tell me your bra size, I'll tell you that you're wrong. We go into the fitting rooms, we fix you up. Coughing a little less, hell yeah. My bra size lately is the 2 fried eggs. Listen, a good bra can turn those fried eggs into deviled eggs? Boiled eggs? Another egg that you might enjoy more? A small jellyfish. I'm very small. I have a small frame. Sometimes people forget that little small framed beings exist. I don't know what happened to my ribcage. My ribcage is just tiny. Oh dear. Your hair looks good, thank you. I ran out of hair dye. I ran out of hair dye, so it's still green. I'll get more. Oh dear. Spilled beer on the floor? Oh god, why? That's such a waste as well. What the heck? Only good stuff to do. Get some more white chocolate. Oh yeah, that's a good one. You mean you can't look at a woman from the grainy photo and tell how many inches? This is the difference. It's like no, I need a 360. And also, yeah, on a phone, it's like most of the time I'll realize immediately that they're naked and look away because like it feels wrong. Like I don't know if that woman has sent you a naked picture just so that you could show me. That might just be her nudes, and I feel wrong looking at that. Oh dear. From fried eggs to fried gold. Hell yeah. Jesus guys, heck yeah. Oh dear. The hair is jellyfish-esque. Yeah, it looks like I've slapped a jellyfish on my head. Because I think did I show this earlier? Oh, it's literally just my roots. like there is a cut-off point. Because I dyed my roots, ran out of dye, and then here we are. Hell yeah. It's just my roots. And a couple of random strands I think might have got dyed as I was washing it out. Good stuff. I don't hate it though. If I hated it, you wouldn't be seeing it, so. It could have been a lot worse, all things considered. I think they were already, oh, they didn't realize. Oh, it's still gross though. I think vomit was my least favorite. The thing is, we did have people throw up who were drunk, but most of the people who were throwing up were going through chemo or something like that. They were like in a really rough medical shape. So it's like, I don't really hold it against them so much. Like, if you're drunk and you throw up in our shop, I will hold that against you. But like, if you're going through chemo, like, listen, it happens to the best of us. I would say let us know in advance if you're feeling a little unwell. Because we do have like bowls and all that kind of stuff we can give you. But yeah, it is a little different. I don't know. Well, you haven't, but, well, listen, in that case, you're winning. Hell yeah. Asses are in. I might be biased towards boobs, but asses are in. Oh dear. You have to get a new camera for your stream, then I see you can have ass cam. Well, actually though, I don't know if Twitch will allow that. That might be too suggestive. I like the idea, but yeah, actually that might get you banned. I was gonna duck out for 30 minutes. Oh, bless you. No, you're fine. Listen, get some heckin' sleeps. If you ever have any questions about boob measuring, I'm pretty good. Oh my god! Oh no, it's gonna be very loud in here in a minute. Jesus Christ! Thank you so much! You literally just popped by today. You didn't have to do that. That's very sweet of you. We like to party. Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. That's very heckin' kind of you. We like to party. Don't worry, I'll make it more cursed for you. No one else realizes, but you can make this more cursed. Thank you so much. Wait, I want to see who got them though. Chrissa, Sonic, Clapping, Leader, Smitty, Neb, Dark Liberty, Fox, Diamonds, Galactic Badger, Pip. Oh, you gave one to my fiance. Why is my fiance not subscribed? Excuse me. You both called him out. How dare he not be subscribed? Oh my god. Well, thank you for opening my eyes. I have realized something. I tried to abuse it. Me too, honestly, me too. Thank you so heckin' much. Please do get some sleeps. The Venga bus has surely arrived. At this point, it is here. I know, right? How dare they not be subbed? Excuse me. I know they have a Prime sub floating around. Oi, oi, oi. The party dimension, heck yeah! We love a good party. It's very, very cursed. It's good. Good cursed party. Way too dank. I'm so sorry. That was a funky minute, yeah. It's the perfect time to redeem party. When it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, double party. I saw the emotes. Oh, you like Snom? Hell yeah, I like Snom and tentacles. This is, oh yeah, actually I could kind of show you guys what these end up looking like, because, you know, this isn't my first tentacle. Here's a tentacle. Here's another tentacle. I have some little tentacles as well, mini ones. This is what they look like. The others are mushrooms. Mushrooms and tentacles. Now I can bonk. Hell yeah, get bonked. This is what they look like. They'll look more like this one because purple sequence, but also like that's the pattern one I'm using rather than the small ones. But yeah, we're a big fan of tentacles here. Just aesthetically, they're so nice. Yeah, we did like the Twitch ones, and then I've done more purple ones, and then we're gonna do Halloween ones. Because everyone loves a good Halloween tentacle. Ooh. Get back on there. There you go. I need to get back to felt my foxes. Oh, lovely. Turnman said we like to party 3 times in the mirror and activated the Venga curse. Honestly, that is kind of how I look upon this channel sometimes. Like, oh yeah, we're fine until we're really, really loud, and then we are less fine. Oh dear. There we go. It's the one stream my parents really watch every year though. When we make the music, my parents like to watch it. I think they were a bit sad we couldn't do it on Christmas Eve this year because they got together with some other family members and I think they would have liked to have seen it. Oh dear, so shiny! I love it. I love it so much. It's so nice and sparkly. I'm back from the graveyard switch. Watch stand-up and then it's almost noon. I don't know if I should sleep or keep going since I don't have to work the weekend. But do you have plans for the weekend? Like things you want to do? Like maybe cook a delicious meal? Or play with sand? Make sand art? I don't know. Maybe you're not the same as me, but energy. Very valuable, very valuable. And at first, like, oh, really? How did it go? Was it good? Do you feel more knowledgeable? Have a good time. Take care. I wish I was eating normally. Oh no, you're fine. Thank you so much for popping by. Thank you for gifting the Heckin subs as well. It's very kind of you. But yeah, enjoy your evening. Take care of yourself. I saw a peacock, peacock in Fat Face at Christmas, and my instant thought was I must buy it. Like, how could I make it? True, actually, yeah, you'd have the skills to make it easily, I see it. Wait a second. I am always the same though. I see it's like shiny, I'm like, I could buy it, or I could make it. Ugh. Normally it's the size of it that will decide it for me. If it's really, really big, then probably nah. I know lots about first aid, I believe. Hell yeah. Honestly, I might want to do a refresher course at some point. I am first aid trained, but it's been a really long time. So I would maybe want to go on a refresher course at some point. Yeah. It's just a useful skill to have. I don't know, I've only had to use it twice, which is honestly 2 more times than I probably would have ever wanted to use it. But, oh. Okay, technically I've had to use it properly twice. And then all the other times it's been useful background knowledge, but it's not exactly what we've had to do. Yeah. So yeah, don't rely on me for CPR, you just deal with the blood. Yeah, I've had 2 instances. One was, bless her, a very old lady. Well, she wasn't actually that old, but she was fairly old. It was like really icy and I was on my paper round and I watched her fall over and she cracked her head open, she broke her arm, both her wrists, and like she was fully concussed, she could not get up. She was kind of awake, sort of, but not really. She had her eyes open and she was there, but I think the bang on the head did a number on her. So there was that one where obviously we had to call the ambulance. I actually went into her house, which was nearby, and grabbed lots of blankets because it was snowing, and got her in recovery and did what I could to make sure she wasn't going unconscious. And then the other time I watched a car pulled out in front of a motorbike and the motorbike went wah, right over the top. And he was all right. He was fully in shock, and he did, I think, break some stuff, but he didn't notice immediately, and we couldn't get the motorbiking armor off him safely, so we mainly just got him out the road. And those are the only two times I've had to use it, and honestly both times were absolutely terrifying, and I'd be okay never having to use first aid again. It's very, very scary, but I do feel like at this point, if I had to do it again, I would be a bit out of practice. So yes. Oh, maybe friends want to go out. I feel like I would run out of energy, but if I chill at home and sleep early, I could be fit early tomorrow. I'm afraid that if I sleep now, I'd go back into my routine and be you know, there is nothing wrong with being awake all night unless you have work in the morning. But yeah, I am very much a routine lady. I go to bed at like 10:30 to 11, and I wake up at like between 7 and 8 normally. And that's good for me. I do sleep a lot. I get very sleepy. Oh, glad you were there then. Oh, she was lovely. I was really, really fortunate because she didn't know who I was, because she was barely there, to be quite honest, but she could see who I was delivering papers for, so she got in contact with the paper people, who then got in contact with me and was like, she's all right, because like, you know, she went to in the ambulance, and that was it. I don't know what happened to her after that, and like, I'll be quite honest, it really was weighing on my mind if she was okay, because she was in a pretty rough state when I found her. So yeah, I was quite worried about it, but she got in contact and was like, you know, I'm fine, I'm making a recovery, I had a few breaks, but I should be okay. And then she sent me a gift card as well, which was really, really sweet. I'm like mildly surprised that the newspaper company actually sent that to me. But they did. It was very sweet. But mainly it was just nice to know that she was all right, because you send someone off in an ambulance like that and you just don't know, especially when they're a bit older. Like, you worry. At least I worried. I kept delivering her paper for a while. There had been no one there, and I was just like, oh god. Yeah, so yeah, thankfully she was fine. And then every time when I'd come and deliver her paper, when she did go back to the house again, she'd come out and greet me, and like we'd have a little chat, and she was really, really nice. And it was lovely. And then when I stopped doing the paper round, I let my sister take over it. So I made sure she knew that it was my sister doing it, and then yeah, it was nice. It was really nice. She'd keep an eye out for my sister too. It was very sweet. Could have gone a lot worse. But they teach, like where I was growing up, they taught us first aid really young. So I was quite lucky that I'd only learnt it like 6 months prior, but like I had learnt it. Oh dear. A teeny tiny nap. They escalate quickly, same. I finished stream yesterday and had a 3-hour nap. I was not intending to have a 3-hour nap, but I did. I still slept good last night though, so it's all good. But yeah, CPR is scary. Yeah, CPR is very scary. I've never had to practice CPR. I've had to put people in the recovery position, and knowing basic things of what to do, because both the people that I've dealt with have had quite bad head injuries. Like, you know, don't remove your helmet, don't take the armor off, keep them still, like that sort of stuff. But I've never had to CPR. I know some of my colleagues have, and I know it's been very, very hard. It's very hard. Ah, dear. Zero, welcome on in. Ah, dear. And yeah, they've gone to bed now, but I'm sure they appreciate it. My juffers. I can use a defib though, yeah. I remember, honestly, it was a really hard day at work. I will say, they were fine. The ending of this story is they were fine. But I remember a day at work once where someone had come in with their baby, and their baby was very young, very, very young. And it's always fun, you see a new baby, it's cute, sweet. But this baby suddenly took a real turn for the worse, like very suddenly. They came in and they seemed fine, and then they started turning blue. And this baby would have only been a couple months old. And one of my colleagues had to do chest compressions on this baby. And literally, they saved this baby's life because they were breathing by the time the ambulance got here. And we know because the mother came back in and thanked my colleague for everything that they did. But that was... honestly, big ups to my colleague who did that. They did, I think, go home from work early because honestly, that's a sort of situation you're not paid enough for in retail. Like, she's paid the same amount as me, and she saved a baby's life. But yeah, that was amazing. But honestly, I don't think I think I'd be too scared on like such a young baby. They cleared the airway. I think she'd been choking on something was the issue. Yeah. So they were like patting her. They were like, yeah. It was just my job to get a screen up so no one could see because of it. What is it called? It's the thing where people can't help but look at a disaster. There was a lot of people just standing there like, I was like, stop. I understand this is in a very public place, but like, this is so inappropriate. Please don't just stand there and watch. Yeah, it was, yeah, my job was to get a screen up and like with a couple other girls, make sure people weren't stood there watching. But yeah, thankfully everything was fine. Baby was good. Baby came back in with mother. Everything was fine. But like, I guess it's the kind of thing you have to prepare yourself for if you learn CPR. Because like, whew, scary. I only had to do it on a dummy. Yeah, I've only done it on a dummy as well. Me too. I've only done it on a dummy. Never on a real person. You missed it. Oh, I think they are not EU times, so I think they needed to get some good sleeps. Yeah, my colleagues were hardcore. Like, once again, retail workers do not get enough love. Like, people would, like, the next day would be, like, beating this co-worker down for, like, just stupid stuff. Like, you mean you don't have it in stock? Why is it so expensive? Meanwhile, that same co-worker saved a baby's life the day before and is paid minimum wage to do so. It's like, honestly, service workers, not given enough ups. Like, they're amazing. They do amazing things and you don't see it. Oh dear. Like, I had this one co-worker who would every week bring in like cake or cookies or something like that. And like, whenever someone was having a hard day, like they'd been yelled at a lot or something like that, this co-worker would take my colleagues aside and like feed them cake and give them tissues and let them have a bit of a cry. And like, no training for that. They were just an amazing person. And like, whenever I'd see someone yelling at that particular co-worker, it was like one of the few times I'd get really mad because like, they're so nice. And they make cakes for everyone every week. They make sure any of the younger members of staff who are a bit worried or scared know what they're doing. They're so nice. They were like a real mum around the business in the nicest possible way. And oh, I get so mad if people were yelling at her. She didn't deserve it. Oh my god, B! Welcome on in! How goes the Apex? I hope you're doing well. I call it filming syndrome when they'd rather film it than help. Yeah, I will say, I don't remember anyone getting their phones up. I do remember a lot of people just being like, and it's like, I get it, because you also want to make sure the baby's alright, but the priority should be with the mother, who is obviously very distraught right now, and the people that are giving her medical attention. Yeah, so I think a lot of retail businesses have screens. Those screens are basically so if somebody has a medical episode or an episode in any kind, that we can shield them from the public eye a little bit. Even if someone just feels a bit faint, like we'd have a lot of older people come in and they'd get a bit faint suddenly, and we'd get them a chair, we'd put the screen up around them wherever they were, just so people weren't ogling them while they felt better, because like, again, they don't mean any harm, but it could be quite an embarrassing situation if you're going into a store and you suddenly feel faint. Like, you don't want people staring at you. But we weren't the only business in the area that did this. I would expect most retail businesses to have that kind of precaution. Yeah, and a lot of the time people just want to make sure the person's okay. They're not trying to hurt anyone or be rude or anything. It's just, it has like a negative effect. My friends had accidents while on scooters. One had a big cut and like a gush in the other. I'm not even half a mile. Cleaned him up, called an ambulance. Till he bonked his head on the kitchen counter. I wasn't there. 2 weeks. Yeah, don't drive in drunk general. Like, I don't think it matters. Don't drive a hacking bicycle drunk. Like, just literally not when you're drunk. Do not, because you put yourself in danger. You put everyone else in danger. Just, if you're drunk, walk. Or get a lift. Get an Uber. Uber is everywhere. Everyone see what retail's like at least once. A lot of us would say the same thing. I think it is nice if you don't ever have to work retail. Like, that's a good position to be in. And I envy that position. I think that's really nice. But if you are in a position where you've never had to work retail, I think coming in with a little bit of compassion, like understanding that the people that are working in retail are often multi-talented people, like they're not idiots that couldn't do anything else, and just treating them like human beings, it's like a very small thing. And a lot of people did. The majority of customers do. Like, they're very, very sweet. They just want a little bit of assistance. They want a bra fit. If they can't have one because they haven't booked, like, they're normally pretty good. But it's just the odd ones. The odd ones. Ah, dear. I'm well. I'm glad. I'm okay. I'm recovering from bronchitis, but I'm actually doing a lot better than I was. I'm still getting a bit puffed out talking, but other than that, it's good. You ogling actually hurts more because it's distressing. Yeah, this is the thing. It's like they don't mean any harm because they just want to make sure the person's okay. So it's like I'm not upset at them. It's just it's actually, yeah. Don't worry. I'd say the best you could do is if a member of staff isn't aware and like someone you're with is feeling quite unwell, like just letting a member of staff know. Like, hey, I'm with my friend. Like we had it once where someone. I don't know what it's called, but it's something to do with diabetes, where they had been drinking a lot of alcohol, and then they kind of got into a state where they were just consistently throwing up and shitting, like they couldn't stop, and like but like to a point where like it was getting quite dangerous. I don't remember necessarily what that's called, but their friends came up to the co-workers and were like, hey, my friend's in this bathroom over here. She's diabetic, and we'd been drinking a little bit, and she said it was fine. But now she's consistently vomiting and shitting, and we're quite worried, and we don't know what to do. And like that is the best you can do in that situation. If you've not called someone yourself, so that we can call an ambulance, get medical professionals out there, and then also cordon off the area so that other people aren't going in while she's in that state. There are other bathrooms, but just making sure there's a member of staff being like, hey, we have a medical emergency happening in the bathrooms right now. Here are the nearest bathrooms, and making sure people go elsewhere. Again, I believe the woman was probably okay. I think she needed some help, but like, she was able to like walk out with the ambulance, so I think she'd probably be okay. I don't know enough about diabetes to be quite honest to know exactly what was happening. I just know that something had happened, and that we had to make sure people weren't going into the bathrooms, because at the time that's all you're told, you know. Like, you know, someone's having a medical emergency in the bathrooms, the ambulance has been contacted, stay here and redirect customers. Okay, I can do that. Those are only real crashes I've witnessed. It's scary. It's very scary. Also, if you drive a car, please be bike aware. Also, because, listen, I come from a family of people that ride motorbikes, and none of the crashes were their fault. None of them were drunk. They were just driving to work, and people will pull out in front of them, and people will not check, and like, or they'll overtake into them, and it's like, bikes exist on the road. Please don't hit people on bikes. Because I feel like a lot of the time when bikers do get into accidents, it's literally not their fault. They have right of way and people just don't see them, or people back into them, and it's... Gastroparesis? Maybe? I don't think I even know what the word is, to be honest. I think if there's anyone with diabetes is happy to tell me, you're welcome to. But I think it's... They just couldn't stop shitting and throwing up. And like, again, it was getting to the point of like, this is concerning, especially because they had diabetes. So yeah, I don't know what it's called, but I know it was triggered by alcohol, drinking alcohol, and yeah. And they needed medical assistance. So I should really appreciate privacy and support. This is the thing, most of the time when someone does have a medical emergency, like they come back and they're like, thanks for shielding me. Thanks for making sure I was okay. Thanks for making sure my friend was okay. Like, it's the only way that we often know that people are okay, because again, once they go into the ambulance, that's the last you see of them. You just hope they're okay. But, yeah, it's, a lot of the time people do come back, and again, it puts the mind at rest of the people that have helped you. So, like, if you do have a medical emergency and then you end up being okay and someone's helped you, going and telling them thank you for the help, it means a lot, because not only it's nice, you know, for people to acknowledge their help, but it's like, it's mainly just knowing that once you left us that you were okay, because it does weigh on people's minds. I know the first aiders, the people that did respond to first aid calls, in where we worked, were often like would spend the rest of the day just like this, like, I hope I did enough. Did I do enough? Was it okay? Was it enough? And it's like, there's nothing you can really say, like, to help other than like you couldn't have done more. Like, it's difficult. Ah, dear. Weirdly, I like watching shows like Ambulance and Police Interceptors, but I enjoy more when you witness the kind of strangers, and I think it gives my faith in humanity restored. Yeah, most of the time, I've seen, so I will say, like, I had a slight incident, where I was in a pretty bad place. I was really sick before traveling. I hadn't had any sort of diagnosis at this point, but I knew I wasn't well. So I'd already had to go to A&E once that month. And like, my symptoms hadn't gotten better, and I was really, really unwell and very unsteady on my feet. But I was trying to travel home, and it was my birthday. And I was trying to travel home on my birthday to see my family, and I collapsed on the train. Yeah, I collapsed on the train about 5 minutes after catching it. So I basically got on the train and was like, bam! And a junior doctor helped me. And I only really found out afterwards because they helped get me off the train and contact the train staff so that I could have support, because I wasn't in like a really dangerous position where I needed an ambulance, but I also was like not really there. Even when I was waking up, I was barely conscious. So someone stayed with me and made sure that I was okay, because I was a barely conscious woman, not barely woman, a barely woman conscious. At the train station, and they stayed with me until my family could come and get me. And yeah, people stayed with me for like 3 hours, just putting it out there, because my family do not live close to me. And it was very heckin' wholesome. Oh dear. Where are those biker cyclists here in the Netherlands? Yeah, you have a lot more cyclists, which I guess would help with that sort of thing. So in London for an NFL game, I've watched NFL in London. Went for dinner at Weber Street with a group of 2 girls and a guy. The girl had way too much, passed out. Oh my god. Out of consciousness, she was like there. Oh dear. They called an ambulance to a carted her off. Yeah, this is the thing. It's like, what do? You have to make sure that they're okay. A barely woman consciousness. That's me. That's how I like to describe it. A barely woman consciousness. Not dangerous. You were on the train and they had to get you off. Being in the train would have been so much safer. Yeah, but if my condition had deteriorated, you can't be on the train. So because if I needed an ambulance, you can't get an ambulance from a train. So they'll get you off at the nearest station, and they'll get the medical people at the station to keep an eye on you. And then once they can be sure that you're okay, I had somebody else stay with me, but they'll leave you to it, or they'll call an ambulance if they can't verify that you're going to be okay. But they have to get you off at the first station. Yeah, because otherwise, especially with cross-country trains here, it could be 40 minutes before they can get you off at the next station. So it's like, just in case there's an emergency, you have to get off the train. Yeah. Also, Fries, Happy New Year! I hope you're doing well. You got the train, but you need to be with... Yeah, this is the thing. They contact the rail staff. Yeah. Basically, sick club and medical emergencies. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine. It's all fine. I survived. Oh, dear. It's probably... the thing is, I'm glad that I got probably what will end up being the worst birthday in my life out of the way early. Because since then, every birthday's been lovely. I've had lovely birthdays since then. They've all been great. So I feel like I got that out of the way nice and young, so that I don't have to deal with it when I'm older. I'm okay with that. I've had good birthdays recently. Welcome to Sick Club, get a duvet. She was skinny too, and she was scary to see, but the Wetherspoon concept or pub mentality in general was so nice. Yeah, it's... Pub mentalities though, I can't speak for all clubs, but pubs here tends to be pretty good. If someone's heckin' paralytic, they'll try and find someone who knows them first normally, like, do you know this person? And if they don't, they'll normally talk to the police or something like that. And again, like, if they're unconscious, and yeah, the hospital for sure. People are normally pretty good. Oh dear, I got sick on New Year's Eve. Oh no! There's nothing wrong with sleeping the New Year in though. Ah dear. Dun, dun. Six says they're just getting back from it. Sneezes, stuffy nose, and oh god, a stuffy nose. That is hell. I cannot handle it. Having a blocked nose, I am completely non-functional. Listen, I'm here with bronchitis right now, and I'm like, I'm fine. I can chat. I feel good. If my nose was blocked, you would not see me. I cannot deal with having a blocked nose. What just fell off? Did anyone see what just fell? I heard something fall. I did readjust myself. I can't see anything that would have fallen. But something definitely did just fall. I'm not sure what it was though. Oh god, something's fallen. Oh well, it'll be fine. COVID during Christmas, that was me! I had COVID during Christmas. I can cheers to that. Oh, I love a good COVID Christmas. Tonsils, what, rimping out? I don't have tonsils, so I'm winning. It wasn't spicy, that's good. I'm glad it's at least not spicy. Every generation is like younger guys next to the elderly couple enjoying a beer, and yeah, I do like pubs. I also like that in Wetherspoons you can order food to the table. Because like I'd always get really shy going up to the bar. Because first of all, the bar near me was taller than me, which is like kind of embarrassing. Obviously that's the same for most people there because I'm not that short. But like I'd be like here and be like, can I have a beer please? And it's like, I always found that a little bit embarrassing, but it's okay. Oh, you got it already? Oh my god! Oh, I'm glad you like it. It's obviously nowhere near as much as you gave me, but I was like, I know that there are dragons in this show, so I'll do a dragon. I'm glad you like it. Also, I'm sorry that it's so heavy. I didn't really plan that out, but it did end up being quite hefty. Hi, I am not 4'5". That's not true. Spicy nom nom. Good morning. I used the name space today and it's the first time you've been able to breathe out my nose. Hell yeah. Thankfully your tonsils look better. Yeah, my throat looks really weird. I had my tonsils out, but I had my tonsils out because I had like an excess of scar tissue on them. Which is like another problem, honestly. I got a lot of scar tissue inside of me. I give you like scar tissue, it's all on the inside. But yeah, so my throat looks kind of weird now. It just looks kind of weird. Because they took them out, but there's still like a lot of weird tissue-y bits in there. It just looks kind of funky. It's alright though, most people don't look down my throat. You know, when I'm streaming, it's not the first thing I think people are looking at. Yeah, post is better. Oh, imagine. Oh, true, yeah, the big wings. Hell yeah. Oh, I should have done something Maleficent-y. That's another thing that I haven't watched. But I like this song. What's the song? The song that they sing with the other witch. Yeah, I like that. I'm still fatigued as heck. Oh god, Sonne. Yeah, everyone, Sonne is the sickest in sick club right now. And like there really just is no, it's not even close. Sonne has WAP. Yeah, WAP's my favorite song in Maleficent. Oh my god, you're gonna kill me. Is there for people? Hell yeah. My throat's been a bit funky. The moment looks more funky than usual. Oh my god, extra funky. We love the extra funk. Oh dear. Oh, what's it called? I don't remember. But there is like a song that I've definitely heard and I really liked it. And it's like they sing it with, I think, Glinda? Oh dear. Like a duet. It's cute. I liked it. Oh. That's Wicked? Is that not the same thing? Is Wicked not the same as Maleficent? I'm really sorry. I don't watch television. I'm so sorry. I do my best. Please just assume that I'm like your grandma who appreciates and encourages your hobbies, but also knows nothing about them. I really like. I'll make sure that when you finished it, I'll be like, I really like your Wizard of Oz costume. That's a really good Wicked Witch of the West. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Alphabet's from Wicked. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait, who? I think it's just because there's green. There aren't any dragons in the Wizard of Oz. Are there not? Oh no, those are monkeys, aren't they? They're not dragons. There's lions and tigers and bears and monkeys. Oh dear. And tin men! Are you posted? Is this Maleficent? I love the designs you were posting recently. Oh no, the dragon! I'm glad you like it. It's a hefty bead. She ends up very heavy. Can't believe no one said oh my. Oh, there we go. I used to see it. It's got ya. At least you're a lovely grandma that encourages sewing hobbies. Yeah. It's like, I really appreciate all of your hobbies and I love watching you make costumes. I'm just really sorry. I don't watch movies or television. So a lot of what I'm doing is guesswork. Sonny is the leader of the sick. Sonny is the leader of the sick. They are. Norovirus is, I think, the most sick that I have ever felt in like a week. It is horrible. An absolutely horrible disease. So, Sonny, our hearts go out to you. I'm sorry that you're going through that. One of the biggest streamers, YouTubers of my Germany got 3 8-gig flash drives for Christmas from his family. Oh, that's really sweet. I'm happy with the designs I'm working on. I'm excited. I love the idea of the faces on the back. That's gonna be so cool. That's gonna look amazing. I'm almost jealous that I can't do that sort of thing with this costume, but I think that's gonna look so cool. Oh dear. Sonic could be the leader. Yes, yeah, as long as it's not cult. It's not a cult, don't worry. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's the vomiting shitting one, which lasts like a week. And it's very, very contagious, so you have to, yeah. The needle felting faces will be a good twist. It's gonna be so cool. Oh my god. Are you going to have it deconstruct so that you can walk around the floor? Because, although actually the dress is not too outwardly big, is it? It's pretty slim fitting. I guess you just have to remove the wings. And that's only if they have that same rule again, which, god damn it, I hope that they don't have that rule. No, okay, fair enough, babe. You think I could walk around in those wings? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. Thank you for the lurk, babe, and I hope work's going well. The first cut is always the hardest. Deep and meaningful. Wow. Oh dear. I'm gonna try. I think for mine it should be fine as long. I'm gonna have to be able to take the headpiece off so that I can see properly. But then I always design costumes so that I can't see on stage because flashing lights. I love that. Oh dear. But yeah, so I'll have that removable, and then I think it's just the cape. Mine's relatively small, honestly. Do not care for the rules. I'll just walk around looking scary anyway. Honestly, that might be fine. Like, people were just walking in last time and not being stopped. So, like, you might be fine with that. I have a spot or two, yeah, just in case. Happy working, Bateman. Hope the head's better. Yeah, I hope so too. I hope you feel okay. If not, there's space in Sick Club. Yeah, welcome to Sick Club. Actually, Killer from DBD because she's sensitive to light. This is why I used to play matches as Killer every now and again because I really enjoyed it. But because of the torch gimmick where you could just flash the torch in the killer's eyes and your whole screen will just flash white. I can't do it anymore. It's not safe. So I can only play Survivor. Which is a shame, because I would really, really like to have... I would have loved to have, practiced Killer a little bit more. But when there is literally something you cannot stop happening where your screen flashes in white, it's like... Yeah, I can't play that, funnily enough. And like I will say most survivors don't use that strat because it is quite scummy. But like, yeah, it's a strat. People do it, and it means that anyone who can't do flashing lights can't then play. Sad. Big Sag. But it's alright, it's fine. I'll live. I haven't played Dead by Daylight for a while anyway. It's all good. The killers just targeted my butt? No! Here I am making jokes, Jelly's actually in danger. It's not that bad. I'll get a migraine. I'll have like a really, what do you call it? I don't like calling it a migraine attack because like obviously I have migraines so often, but it's like a migraine that happens really, really quickly. So it's like there's not enough time to quickly take medication to stop it. So it's like an unstoppable migraine. Normally I'll have like the aura and like the first phase, and that's when I still normally take the tablets and try and prevent it. But if I have lots of flashing lights, I tend to have a migraine so quickly that I can't stop it, and then there's nothing I can do. That's what yours are like, yeah. It's like, I think they are technically called migraine attacks because it is so quick. It's just, it feels a bit weird to say it when I have them, like I have migraines so often, because like I'm always kind of in some stage of migraine. But yeah, it is like that. It's nasty. They come on within 20, yeah, exactly. It's like you do not have time for painkillers to kick in before you're at full symptoms, which means it is basically a migraine that you cannot stop. And yeah, it's because the at least the painkillers that I have do not work very well if you are already like mid-stage of a migraine. They take the edge off it, but they won't stop it. Whereas if you can get it in the first stage, it will normally stop it before it starts, which is great. Have you guys heard of a neutron star? I'm like that with Barford Diary. Sorry, no. Like I said, when you feel better, really treat yourself. Like, well, time to die. Yeah, I'm just gonna be out of commission for a while. Yeah, it sucks. I hate those ones. Oh, I do have some good news though. I don't think Amazonia, you know about it. So obviously I have migraines like every day. Pretty common knowledge. I have them a lot. I've been through all medical like drug routes to try different and unfortunately none of them have worked. And this Christmas I got together with my family for a day. And they said that they'd put the money together to pay for my next treatment. Which means I can start Botox whenever I like. And I've chosen to start it in April because there's something in April very specifically that I want to go to and I want to be well enough, and sometimes after the first treatments of Botox you'll be pretty sick for a while, but yeah, because of them I can actually do it. So Botox kills nerves. It is a poison. It's a poison to your body. The way that Botox is normally used is obviously to like make your skin look younger and to like puff out so you don't get wrinkles. In this case, Botox is used specifically as a poison. So it gets injected into between 32 and 40 points on your head and neck. For me, it'll be across the forehead, down the sides, over the ears, and down the back of my neck. And they do it every 3 months to kill the nerves. So basically where the signals are being sent to, you're gonna have a migraine, it stops it. Well, it doesn't stop it, but you don't feel it because your nerves are all dead. So basically you use it as a poison. Unfortunately, it won't make me look any younger. They do it at like little spots, so what you get is lots of little lumps on your head where they put the Botox in, rather than like, you know, filling in lips and stuff like that. It's very much more like, here's some horns on my head. I could be a member of Slipknot, you know, unless I look younger. But it should hopefully mean soon I could do other things. I could do lumpy jelly. I'm gonna be lumpy. I'm gonna be so lumpy. We're actually gonna make a VTuber in the next couple months though. I know we've made a lot of VTubers, but bear with me. We're gonna make one because over the next year I'm going to have to use one a lot. So yeah. Dragon jelly, yeah, be like lumpy like a dragon. But my face will be really beat up during those times. Like I'll be very bruised, very red, very swollen. So I'm gonna use a VTuber. Because Twitch does have some terms of service about showing that sort of thing. And even though obviously in my case it's completely like, you know, medical, it's nothing bad. First of all, I don't want new viewers to come in thinking that I've been beat up because that's what it's going to look like. And second, if they're bleeding or weeping or anything like that, that is absolutely against Twitch terms of service to show. So I will probably be covering my face a lot over the next year. I'll still have face streams in between, but like just, you know, when it's bad so that I don't accidentally get banned for something like that. Give you a chance to do the things you want to do. Yes, I've had this the majority of my adult life. I got chronic migraines when I was 20. So like, I have not had an adult life. I've never been in charge of my own finances. I have not done anything. I can barely leave the house most days. But I'll be able to hopefully go outside more, get a job. But I can stay in for any length of time. I can handle everything myself again. I can cook my own meals. I can do everything that I've wanted to do. So I'm very, very excited about it. I know it's going to be a bit of a nasty process, but honestly, I don't care. Get them needles in me. Oh, so cute. Welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. Welcome on. You joined kind of in a weird conversation, but like, yeah, I'm very excited. I think it's going to be great. Yeah. I know it's going to be a bit of a rough process, but worth it. So worth it. I really hope it gives you freedom. Me too. I want to be able to go outside when I want to and earn a proper living and honestly just be able to like contribute more to like my household. I know that sounds silly and like everyone's very happy to look after me and stuff like that, but I want to contribute to the house that I'm in. Yeah. And right now I don't. Not very much. I contribute with being hilarious, you know, but like not with anything else. Ah, dear. Botox, you're a little weird. Yeah, but unfortunately not like, I'm not gonna look younger. It's not gonna make me look younger. If anything, actually, this Botox can make you look older. Because it kills your nerve, you can end up with a slump. But I already have a slump, so... like, I already have it where one eye is a lot more covered than the other eye. So on this eye, I have lots of eyelids. On this eye, I have less. Yeah. But it's not too bad right now. Right now, it's manageable. I do have like a bit of an eyelid on both sides, but it's already there. So I probably, oh, wrong one. That's the next costume. Oh dear. That's something to do. Yeah, I want to be my own person. I want to do my own stuff. Like if I want to go down the shops, I don't want to have to ask someone to come with me, you know? To make sure that if I have a turn that I'll be okay. Like I also will really... My vision's been bad for a long time, and like we don't talk about that too much because I don't like people to worry too much because obviously I use needles and stuff like that. It'd be so nice to have like proper vision again. Like I have had it where like one side of my face is basically blind for like years at this point. It'd be so nice if I could see again. Oh my god. We'll get there though. We'll get there. Feeling independent is a super important thing. Yeah. Like, I'm 27 and like I've not been able to look out for myself like my entire adulthood. It'd be so nice. You look like a teenager. No! I got a wrinkle. I got the what do you call it? The smiling wrinkles. And I'll be honest, if I'm gonna get any wrinkles, I want them to be wrinkles from smiling. I'm okay with that. Okay, so yeah. I would Oh you. Spoilers. It's okay. Everyone knows. It's fine. They're only little bit spoilers. Ah, dear. Can you have short recap and wide Botox? Yeah, so it's to help with health issues. So Botox is I don't know what you'd call it. It's like, it used to be the last ditch resort. Thank you for the hydrate. But now there is actually something you can do after Botox for people that have chronic migraine. Also other head diseases. I think they also use it for trigeminal neuralgia as well. Basically what Botox does is a poison. It's a poison for your body. So what it does is when you inject it is it does kill the nerves in that area. Now most people do it every few years and they like maybe get like to like have like a lift of their cheeks and stuff like that. But what I'll be doing is getting 30, I think it's 36 injections for me across the head, over the ears and down the back of the neck to numb those areas. So it won't be to look younger, it'll be completely to destroy the nerve endings there. That way when my body's sending signals, because I will technically still have migraines, when my body's sending signals to have a migraine, instead of feeling the migraine, it should just be numb and I won't have to feel it. Most people who go through Botox will still report having migraine symptoms. They'll just be really, really mild. So like instead of having a full-blown migraine where I'm bed-bound and I can't eat anything and I feel really sick, it might just be like I have a slight head twang and I feel a bit nauseous, which is like, it's still not great, but it's night and day to where I am now, where most evenings I'm spending in bed. So yeah, it'd be a lot better and it'd give me a lot of life back. I'm getting older. I have crow's feet at the outer corner of my eyes. Yeah, but these are good ones. Crow's feet are good. Crow's feet means you smile a lot. I obviously, like, everyone's a bit different about wrinkles, but like it means as you get older you'll look like one of those happy old people. Yeah. You'll look like a jolly old person one day. Oh, dear, so I'm not getting rid of my wrinkles. Ironhide, welcome on in. I found Dwayne Johnson lives in an apartment above mine. Oh, god damn it, Iron. Some medication help then, or doesn't it work after the injection? So medication is what they'll normally try to fix it with. So in Wales, you have to fail on 4 different medical treatments before they put you to Botox. So you have to try 4, or is it 3? It's 3 or 4. I've done 4, where you have to try 4 different types of preventative medication for your migraines. And if one of them works, great, you can keep taking that. But if it doesn't work, that's when you go for Botox. Chronic migraine is at least 16 migraines a month, but most people who have chronic migraine have symptoms every single day. You can take topical painkillers, so triptans for migraines, but you can only take them twice a week. So for someone like me who has symptoms 7 days a week, it means I get the weekends off, but Monday to Friday I'm still migrained, right? And even then, sometimes the triptans won't work, especially if it's been a migraine triggered by something, like eating a lot of sweets or flashing lights most commonly. So yeah, it means I get 2 days off a week, but I still have 5 days a week where I have migraine symptoms. And also triptans do have a lot of side effects themselves. They can make you feel quite sick and very spacey. I often forget big portions of time. It's stuff like that. So they're not without their detriments either. I didn't know you get them on your face or for face. I know you get them in your necks and shoulders. Yeah, so Botox in the face is specifically for migraines. They'll normally put it at the points where the pain is, which is why you get it like here, over the ears and down the back of the neck. Since those are the most common points for migraine, but depending on the person, you'll have less or more injections. That's why it's between 30 and 40, because people who have pain at other areas might also need a few extra injections. There certain will be a minimum than bed-bound crippling day. Yeah, exactly. So what I tend to find is people with intermittent migraines will have really bad migraines most of the time when they get them, and they'll have them like a few times a month, maybe a few times a year, but not normally like, 15 times a month. I don't think I've ever met someone who's been on the border of chronic migraine. It's either you have a few a month or you have every single day. It's not to say that those people in the middle don't exist, but I think it's more common that you either have migraines every single day or you have them like once a week, once a month, It doesn't seem that there are very many people on the border. There probably are. I've never met any of them. Oh dear. Grab it! Oh dear. Imagine it's not cheap though. It's not. This is why it's been such a... I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very, very lucky. So this is pre-pandemic. I'll give you guys an idea because it's actually more expensive than this now. But pre-pandemic, it was £300, not dollars, per one treatment. And you need at least 18 months of treatments. So you need to pay for at least 18 months. Likely more, but at least 18. Which already puts it like over a couple thousand. It's a very expensive treatment. Now it is more expensive. Yeah. Oh dear. Bella, I've been lurking. Waiting for a hyper to... Oh no! Bless you. Take care of yourself. It's lovely to see you, but I hope you feel better soon. Oh, Lena, welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. I don't know it could be so often or so severe. I think the thing with people with chronic migraines, a lot of them are in my position. You can't work. You can't leave the house. You need someone to help you with basic daily things. It's very disabling. It's actually a lot more common than you'd think, but like, where would you meet someone with chronic migraine? Unless you know someone in your household that's got it, like, you won't meet us. We're stuck in the house all the time. Like, it's very difficult for us to get out, and often we need a lot of help. So it's like, it's not surprising that a lot of people don't realize that this is as common as it is. I think in America it's the 3rd largest cause of disability after back issues and something else. But yeah, it's a lot more common than people think it is. But like, you don't see us. We're in bed. It's also like, I think a lot of people still think migraine is just the head pain. Whereas like, one of the more detrimental things for me as far as crafting goes is my limited eyesight that I've had now for like nearly 7 years. Where my eyesight is so skewed and like my perspective is off, and I often have like big wobbly shapes going across my vision, that it's like very dangerous for me to use any sort of equipment. And that's why I have so many burns on my hands. That's why I have so much stuff like that, because I misjudge things so easily. And it's like, it's a simple misjudgment, and it's not something that glasses can correct. So you're kind of just left always like, I'm always banging my shoulders and my elbows on everything because I can't judge where a door is. Even now, I literally have a burn healing on my finger. Like, it's small stuff. But it's stuff that you don't necessarily see, I think, unless you talk to someone who has it. Once you Jenny, that's something that is still a lot. Once a week is still awful. Honestly, I've said this many times. If you've had one migraine in your life, it's still awful. Migraines, I don't want it to come across as like, oh, it only is difficult if you have chronic migraine. Half of my family have intermittent migraines, and they strike out of nowhere. You have no warning. You might not be prepared. You might be driving. You might be in like a really difficult position at work, and within 20 minutes, an hour, you are completely incapacitated. And my family who have intermittent migraines, it's terrifying. With me, because I'm always going in and out of them, and because we know that, there's a lot of things in place to make my life possible. Whereas with them, they could be driving to work and suddenly start getting an aura, have to pull over and be picked up because they can no longer safely drive, and they're like vomiting their brains out. And it's like, in many ways, it's different. They both called migraines, but the way that they affect you are very different. Kids is a really good one. A lot of people will start getting migraines when they're teenagers, right? And it can disrupt your schooling to no end, because people don't take migraines seriously. You're not going to get caught up on the work that you missed. So like half the time, kids will have to take like extended periods of time off school because they're having migraine attacks, like maybe like several days a month, and no one will catch them up on the work they've missed because it was just a migraine. So it like immediately puts a detriment to people's education if you suffer with migraines. And in the workplace, you're often not believed because people will say, oh, I have a migraine just to get out of doing work. When in reality, there are people who will need support pretty much immediately and won't get it because people are pretending that they don't have it or whatever. Yeah. Running low. Where's my mouse gone? There it is. Okay. Common it is. Oh yeah, it's a lot more common. Dear, I'm getting triggered by this book, but it's so cute. I haven't found any triggers for mine, sadly. They're at random. And when I was doing my GCSEs, it was once a day. Thank God I'm not having it like that anymore. And that's like so disruptive. Like, it immediately puts you on the back foot for education if you have migraines. Even if you're having just a few a month, it puts you on the back foot for education because you don't get caught up and people don't take it seriously. It's also embarrassing. Like, I know people who would start projectile vomiting mid-migraine at school because they'd go to the nurse and be like, I'm starting to have a migraine, wouldn't be taken seriously, be told to go back to class until they were at the point where they had to throw up in front of everyone. And it's like, that's so embarrassing. Like, no kid should have to be subject to that. Then that's not only affecting your education, but it's also affecting your mental health. Like, a lot more than it maybe needs to. So, yeah, it's like one of those conditions where it's like, it's trivialized. So people don't realize that people like me can exist, and they don't help people with intermittent migraines who are just trying to get through life. It's bad. There's a lot. I could talk about this all day because obviously it's like that affects me very personally. Not only because I have migraines, because my whole family does. It's nasty. I feel like if a human really wanted, we could have good solutions to almost if not all diseases. So that's actually a really fair point. For preventative migraine treatments, none of them were designed for migraines. It just that happens that they could help. So the first one I took was an antidepressant. The second one I took was it's like keeps your blood pressure down. The third one also keeps your blood pressure down, and then the fourth one is an anti-epileptic. None of them were designed for migraines. It's just some people have a good reaction to them if they also have migraines. Right now in the UK, we've only just got our first preventative migraine treatment for like that is specifically targeted towards migraines, other than triptans, which is a topical painkiller that you can only take twice a week. Like an actual preventative, we've only just got it, and you can only get it if you failed 4 other medications that aren't even designed for migraine. So it's you can only have the migraine medication once we know that you're not epileptic. You know, once we've tried you on that. And you can see from me, it took 6 years to trial 4 medications because they want to keep upping the dosage. So, and I actually only really trialed 3 because the first one I had an allergic reaction to. So I was on the first one for like a week and then I had to stop it. And then the others, I was on for over a year most of the time because they would keep upping the dosage to make sure that it wasn't going to help you. And like, just putting it out there, these have pretty negative side effects, like really nasty ones going on and off them. So like, you're giving yourself all these other side effects and you're getting no help. Kids at school really struggling with migraines. Yeah, it's really common. Yeah, I got in trouble for spending the day. Yeah, like this is a thing. You're really looked down on. If you have migraines, in school especially, people look down on you for it. You'll be told off for it. You won't be believed. And then it actively affects your education because they're not thinking that you need like, oh, you won't need to be caught up. Even if you've taken like 2 days off for like, it's not treated the same. It's treated like a trivial thing. And I know schools are starting to get a bit better with it. If you're curious as well, I always have a link under my stream to the Migraine Trust. And the Migraine Trust is a UK-based charity, but they work on basically getting better stuff in schools and workplaces for people with migraine, intermittent and chronic, so that there's easier to explain to employers, and basically there is support stuff in schools. They go around, they do talks and stuff like that. Basically educating people on what migraines actually are and why they require support. So if you do want to find more out from like professionals, there is a link underneath the stream. Also, cute, thank you so much for the follow. It's very kind of you. Kiki, welcome on in again. I hope you're doing well. Never really understood it, but you're doing a great job highlighting how bad it could, like, again, and just to be clear, having one migraine is terrible. You know the percentage of people that the first time they have a migraine, they go to A&E. They go to intensive care because that's how bad it is. If you've never had a migraine, people will take themselves or get taken to intensive care with migraines for the first one that they ever have because it's terrifying. You're going blind potentially. You're having excruciating head pain. You can't stop throwing up. You can't see. Everything's wobbling around you. It's like being exceptionally drunk. You can hear and see things. Like, auras are already a type of hallucination, and I've only found out since that a lot of other people with migraines also will suffer with hallucinations during them. It's terrifying. And then afterwards you can have massive gaps in your memory. It's a whole thing. It's not just a headache, it's everything. And the amount of people that will take themselves to intensive care because they think that they're having a stroke. That's the other thing, is there's lots of different types of migraines. Hemiplegic migraines, again, relatively common. You will have half of your body go numb. Like, it is like having a stroke. You will look like someone having a stroke while you have the migraine. You will stop being able to use parts of your body. Like, I think, again, people really trivialize it, where there are people who literally look like they're having a stroke, having all the same symptoms of someone having a stroke, but it's a migraine. And it's not dangerous. I've been taken to A&E with stroke-like symptoms. It's a migraine. I would still say, if you have stroke-like symptoms, please go to A&E. Please don't just be like, oh, it's going to be a migraine. Go and get professionally diagnosed. But it can be that bad, and it is that bad. A lot of people do take themselves to A&E the first time because it's so scary. Every school I've heard has one. I wonder if it's a legal requirement. I'm not sure. It could be. I don't think there's a thing in German medical system as a dumpster fire. Oh, I mean, same. I mean, us too. Some form of first aid facility is a legal requirement. Yeah, that makes sense. That is terrifying. It is. It's really scary. And this is why I always try and emphasize, like, if you've only ever had one migraine, you still deserve support for that one migraine, whether it be the day off work or the day off school, being reintroduced and caught up after you've missed stuff, whether it be a friend driving you home, you still deserve support, even if you've only ever had one migraine, because it's incredibly scary. And you shouldn't feel that if you come to this stream while I don't have migraines like her, that's fine. Everyone's migraines are different. Yeah, regardless of whether you have one migraine a week, one migraine a month, one migraine a day, or one migraine in your entire life, you still deserve the same level of support. I would say, as a general, just to cover my bases, if you are having consistent head pain or consistent migraine symptoms most days, please do take yourself to a doctor to get a proper diagnosis. The reason is self-diagnosing chronic migraine, it doesn't really exist because the same symptoms for chronic migraine are actually the same symptoms for stroke victims, for people that have brain aneurysms and brain tumors. We all have exactly the same symptoms. So if you are having consistent head pain or consistent migraine symptoms like blindness, like feeling nauseous all the time accompanied with head pain, please go get a proper diagnosis. And when you do go, rather than saying, I think I'm having migraine, make sure that you list out your symptoms. Because it might be migraine. In fact, that's the most likely thing that it will be. But on the off chance you're one of the people that is suffering with potentially a brain tumor, make sure that you go and speak to a professional, because they'll be able to tell if any of your symptoms are concerning. So I did have concerning symptoms, even though I have chronic migraine, and I had a head scan within days on the NHS. That's how seriously they take it. So I saw a neurologist 2 weeks after I saw my first GP, because of one of my symptoms being a little bit concerning, and it's a very common symptom for chronic migraine. So yeah, rather than going in and saying you think you have migraines, make sure that you list your symptoms. Yes. That way a doctor can tell you that you have migraines. Or they can make sure that you have nothing more dangerous. Also, up. Oh, come on in, ups. I hope you're doing well. My first migraine was the day we had this fireworks safe. Oh my God. Bless you, Q, that's not a good day. I told the teacher how much pain I was in, and she was like, hang in there, because it could be really difficult to do this course later. Yeah, it's not, see, this is the thing, is like, you need to be believed. And it's such an important thing for your mental health, but also for your physical health. The belief is important. And again, if you have consistent head pain, please go to a doctor, because I am not a doctor and I'm not here to diagnose anyone. Yes. Very important. I had first really bad ones about 1.5 years ago when I was driving. Ooh, couldn't see for like 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. Yeah. It's terrifying. Like, for me, I nearly always have one eye is not seeing correctly. It's part of the reason over the last couple of years I focused so much on sewing by hand, because I can sew on a machine. There are safety guards in the way to make sure that I'm safe. But I used a glue gun once on stream and I gave myself 2nd-degree burns. I stuck the nozzle of the glue gun to my hand as it was on. And like, it's just because my perception isn't good. So like, I won't think my hand's in the way, and it is. And because I can't see well enough, I'm then ripping it out. I'm not doing the right stuff. You have to be safe. I burn myself nearly every single time I cook, because it's difficult. I can't see. It's like wearing drunk goggles and trying to cook. Unless I have someone there to help me with those bits, which is what we tend to do in this household. I promise I'm not just going around burning myself. This one was on the toaster. Don't ask how I got my hand that far in the toaster. I don't know. I don't know how that happened. But it's stuff like that. It's really scary, especially the first time it happens. Like, honestly, I think hearing about people's first migraine is just always the worst, because like, it is so scary. It's so scary. We had to even practice putting out a fire and all, and yeah, I passed with a good grade. I mean, good for you for like pushing through it, I suppose, but like, yeah, you shouldn't have ever been put in the position where you had to. Especially because that's a lot of lights. Not everyone is light phobic with migraines. Or I don't know what it's called, but like they can't do lights. Some people as well have different ones. Really common ones are having painful reactions to light, which is the really, really common one, but it can also work with loud noises as well as strong smells. Now, noises I don't really get. Lights I absolutely get. Smells. If something smells, even something that I like the smell of, if it smells strong, I die. And like, there were many times where Shiny would find me with my head in a carpet because the smell of dust was easier for me than the smell of someone cooking food. I'd just be at the top of the stairs with like my head in the carpet, like, ah! Does the state run the hospitals in the UK? It is, yes. The NHS is not private yet. So yeah, you don't pay for healthcare. Ah, dear. Does the muscle memory of your hand sewing with not helping yourself? Well, also it's, like, I don't know if you can see this. It's relatively hard to hit myself and like actually hurt it. There are times where I have, obviously it does happen, but for the most part, the stuff that I use, the beading needles is a hazard because they are so sharp. But for the most point, I'll notice. But the thing is, even if I do injure myself, which I do, it's a needle prick. Whereas if I injure myself with a drill or a Dremel or a glue gun, it's more damage. So I do still hurt myself, especially with the beading needle. The beading needle is dangerous. But it tends to not be at the same level as a lot of other crafting techniques. Anything involving heat, anything involving sharp objects, or really fast moving stuff. Yeah, it tends to be. Those are the ones where I have to be a lot more careful. I do have a few good days a month normally. I can do it. It's just there's no point in me basing a whole costume around it because I can only do it like twice a month. Oh dear. Here in Germany, more and more hospitals are being sold to private companies. Like in my hometown, they shut down the birth. Oh dear. Because it pays good. They're taking 90-year-old people to operate. Oh, bless them. Oh, that is fucked. Not keen on that, sorry. I'm gonna head off to work. Vincent, take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of the day. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so this is a standard needle. This is a sharp. So it's just a standard needle. In my mind, sharps are just like the standard needles. I use beading needles when I'm using the beads because they have much smaller holes, so that this would be too big. But for the sequins, I can use just a standard sharp, and that's what I tend to prefer. But yeah, it still makes me laugh though, because a couple after, so I don't really like talking about it in a judging situation. In fact, no, I absolutely despise talking about it in a judging situation. I always have it in my mind, and I know it's not real. It's in my head, and I get that. But if I go into a judging situation and I mention a tool that I work around a disability, then they're gonna be like, oh, look at her, she's such an inspiration, she's working so hard, she's disabled. No one's ever done that to me in a judging situation, but it's always like my biggest fear is that people will go easy on me because I'm disabled. I don't want people to go easy on me. I want exactly the same as everyone else, right? So I tend to try and avoid bringing it up if absolutely possible. But they did specifically ask at TwitchCon, why did you base your costume around all of these techniques? Why did you go so heavily into sewing, beading, and sequining? What was the reason? And I literally just had to say, it's like, my eyesight is not really good enough. Like, I think I just mentioned I have a disability that means it is difficult for me to use certain types of machinery, and I left it at that. And then one of the cosplayers, they went on their stream afterwards, and they were like, there was a cosplayer that ended that couldn't use their hands. And I was like, it's not that. My hands are fine, it's my vision. It was very sweet, they were very nice, but I was pissing myself in the hotel room because it was Samir who linked it to me. I was like, my hands are fine. Oh dear. Correct agents of German health because I prefer the German. I know both from a professional experience and overall the German simply is more... Oh, okay. At least we can get to see a general practitioner most on the same day. Oh yeah, you have to be pretty sick to get it on the same day here. That's not a... You would never bully me, would you not? Still take good care of her, we pay for that, but I feel like no one should make a profit. Yeah, it's a nuanced subject, isn't it? It's not easy, and there's not an easy solution. So funny. I literally, because they built it up, they were like, it was really cool to see a disabled cosplayer taking part in an international cosplay competition, and it really showed that cosplay was for everyone. And honestly, I was just so impressed because she couldn't use her hands, and I was like, no! You were so close. Oh my god. And it's like, yeah, it would be really impressive for me to do that much beading and sequining if I didn't have use of my hands. Nah, it's my vision. My vision's the problem, not my hands. That was so funny. I can't believe, I know I tragically lost both my hands in a shot. It's inspiring. The clinic situation's not great and could turn worse. We'll have to see what the future brings. I think a lot of us in that situation, hoping for the best. She has tentacles for hand, guys. We all know this. Exactly. Sorry. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm really inspiring because I use tentacles instead of human hands. The human hands you're seeing on stream, those are actually projection. They're not real. Oh, dear. Oh. Also, I just want to clarify as well. In the context of what the cosplayer said, of being inspired by the costume and the techniques I used, I wasn't offended or anything like that. There is a lot of nuance to being inspired by disabled people. Generally, the way that I would say, if you're inspired from my cosplay to start cosplay or to try a different skill, that's great. And honestly, it's really humbling. I really appreciate it. If you're inspired because I got out of bed this morning, that's where it's like, ugh. a lot of nuance in that particular subject. I just didn't want to. I realized I said that she said she was inspired, and I was like, I don't want it to come off as like they were being ableist, because they weren't. They were inspired by the techniques that I used and the costume and the commitment. They weren't inspired by me because I'm disabled. It's, again, nuance. You can be inspired by disabled people, just not because they're disabled. Ah, dear. It's a difficult one. Well, it's actually not that difficult, really. Oh, dear. Yeah, we all know this. We all know that I have tentacles for hands. I actually think if I make a VTuber, I might give them tentacles for hands. I really like the idea of it. I also think it could make some really cool expressions. Like, as far as, like, if I wanted to add any in what do you call it? Animations and stuff like that. Little movements and poses. I feel like tentacles for hands could look really cool. Getting a lot of weirdly cut sequins. I'm gonna put them over there. They're weird. Orders of comprehension. Yeah, the reason I got a doctor's appointment last month was because I had a... Oh! Oh my god! Are you okay now, Danny? That's scary. That's a scarily high fever. I'm not surprised you were taken. I would have... If I had been nearby, I would have been like, absolutely you're going to a hospital. Excuse me. You're good now. Okay, yeah, that's a very high fever. My god. I'm glad you're doing all right now, though. Jeez. Wow. There we go. Oh, thank you for the hick. Sugars. Oh, actually, Senkoi, do you mind if I ask you a quick question? Just because I'm not sure what the name of it is and it's kind of bothering me. If you happen to know, if you don't worry about it. If someone who is diabetic gets into a state where, because they've had a lot of alcohol and a lot of sugar probably, that they cannot stop throwing up and shitting, basically. They get into a state where their body is absolutely shutting down. Do you know what that's called? Or does it even have a name? Oh dear, sugar's behaving, heck yeah! My heart rate goes to 200 when I do exercise, how am I alive? Oh good god. Oh dear. Because I had to take my heart rate and breathe oxygens a lot over the last couple weeks. We were finding that if I coughed while they were taking the test, my heartbeat would be like, boom! It was very funny. Isn't that heart rate super high? There's high, but not... that's a very high temperature. That's a very, very high temperature. Sounds like there could have been ketoacidosis. Alright, okay. I'll believe in that. I wondered. I think they were alright. But yeah, they were apparently drinking a lot of cocktails, according to their friends. And yeah, when they got to us, they were in a really rough state. They were not well at all. So we called an ambulance, and the ambulance took them away. 40 is life-threatening, 35 is borderline, like, yes, he is terrifying. A very, very high temperature. And obviously it happens, and you get medical intervention, hopefully you'll be okay, but it's still scary. Fevers are one of those things where if you have a bad fever, it can trigger other things in your body to start happening. And you can get permanently sick if you have like a lot of really high fevers, or even sometimes just one really high fever. It can like permanently make you less well. It's very scary. Very definitely should be taken seriously. For sure. Yeah, my diabetes knowledge is lacking, is what today has taught me. I mean, I didn't think it was particularly high anyway, but I realize it's even more lacking than I thought. Oh dear. How are we doing, by the way? Yay, we're doing pretty well. Okay, so my goal at the moment is to stream longer every single day, and I have been noticing like the last few minutes I've been feeling a little bit puffed out. I mean, but then I've been talking about something I'm passionate about, so like it's not really surprising. But we've gone the same length of time as we did yesterday already, so we're doing pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not gonna stop just yet, but I don't feel like I need to stop just yet. But I wanna keep going longer every single stream. Take care. Oh, take care. I hope the rest of your day goes well, Isocia. Thank you so much for popping by. It's always nice to see you. If any of you in chat, by the way, doesn't know Isocia is a very, very talented crafter on Twitch. They've not been very well recently, so I'm not sure they've streamed as much. But they normally stream pretty damn regularly. They do amazing crafts. Very, very heckin' talented bean. Definitely send them some love if you've never met them before. They're also just generally like a very sweet bean, which you can probably tell from chat. Indicated I got a fever last checked. It was 40 was high, 42 was borderline life threatening. Nah, I think 42 is dead. But I could be wrong. Let me just... ISO... There you go. There. It's ironically a fever is your body's immune system trying to protect, but it can harm you even more. Yeah, it's like it's your body trying its absolute bestest, but unfortunately, yeah, it can be very, very dangerous to have high fevers. Even just one, but especially if you're getting a lot of high fevers. Because yeah, it can affect your body permanently, which is very scary. Lovely Bean. Oh, you're fine. Take care. I really do hope you feel better soon. I hope you graduate from sick club as soon as possible. I'm good now, but since I've had the flu, I can't sleep. Oh no. You're definitely getting the flu vaccine. Yeah, I was in the same boat as you. I've always been given a free vaccine. And when I went to university, I was like, I'm young. I don't need the flu vaccine. I'll be fine. And I had flu and I was so ill. And it was right after having flu that I started getting lumps appearing on my body and stuff like that. So I am someone who had a high fever and has permanently been sick now because of it. The 1 year that I didn't take my flu jab, and I've had it every year since. And I would highly recommend to anyone else out there, even if you're healthy, even if you're young, if you have access to a flu jab through work, or maybe you just get offered a free one anyway, like honestly get it. It's just not worth having flu. It sucks. It's awful. NHS website lists those symptoms for, oh, okay, which can be caused by drinking. Thank you. I appreciate the enlightenment. Because yeah, obviously the ambulance knew what they were doing and they knew how to help. But like, oh, she was so unwell. Well, like our hearts really went out for her. She was so ill. I haven't had a vaccine shot since I was 11. Oh, honestly, I so recommend it, Sonny. Like, avoid getting the flu. Really, it's awful. Even if you have a healthy body, the flu sucks. And it's not like